I haven't explained why I don't live with my mother anymore. It's because she's a muse, or you could say a groupie. That's her calling. Yes, she baked cookies and taught me to swim and took me for doctor's checkups. She tucked me into bed and drove me to school. But she doesn't really like being a mother. Even at 38, Isadora looks like a tree nymph. Earthy and feral and somewhat magical. She's petite, with strong features and wild black curls. We look alike, if you describe us only as 5'2" with lots of dark hair and big eyes. But Isadora looks romantic. Creative men who like to feel strong and vital adore her, and she adores them. She has a remarkable ability to charm people who are more sophisticated or better educated than she is. She never acts meek, never apologizes, and always follows her impulses. To Isadora, all her whims are valid. She puts herself first because no one else ever put her first when she was young. I admire her for all that, but my skin crawls at the way she glows in the light of a new man's validation. As I grew up, she was a muse, or lover, or companion to a long series of male artists, of which my father appears to have been the first. He's the only one I didn't meet. Until I was 3, we lived in a Santa Fe art studio with that sculptor. I slept on a mattress on the floor, surrounded by aloe vera plants. Then Isadora left the sculptor for a video artist who is documenting people who decorate their cars. We lived with him until she found someone else. And then someone else. When I was 6, Isadora packed 2 small suitcases and took us to Rome. There, she was the lover of a famous installation artist. We lived with him in a rented villa. I ate spaghetti every night and slept under a canopy. A few months later, just as I began to understand Italian, the artist abandoned us. Isadora and I woke up one morning to find ourselves alone. Her boyfriend and his entourage had left in the night. No message. My mother had 0 cash, no work permit, and a maxed-out credit card. We lived off what was left in the fridge while the villa's owner tried to force us to leave. We were there for several weeks. We got down to eating pickles and stale crackers. We were eventually rescued because Isadora put on her prettiest dress and went to a gallery opening where she met an aging ceramicist whose work was displayed in New York's Museum of Modern Art. He was English, and he grandly whisked us off to a thatched-roof cottage he owned in his home country. We lived with him until Isadora attached herself to a singer-songwriter who was big on the folk music circuit. A year after that, we were living with his rival. We lived with, let me count them, 7 other men, and I had 7 other schools or remote school situations. At some point, Isadora got me a handheld gaming console, and later an iPhone. Even though I was limited to small screens, games became everything to me. Probably the same way books become everything for readers. The games were friends I could rely on. There was escapism in the story worlds, but more important was the feeling of being in a flow. Surfing subway cars or running through a temple, the jolt of solving a puzzle, the release of vanquishing enemies, the buzz of being good at something. Sar Adler was my mother's second to most recent boyfriend. When we met him, Isadora was 35 and I was 15. Sar had won an Oscar at age 27 in a supporting part, playing a squirmy, anxiety-ridden gangster in a movie full of dark cinematography and brutal violence. But he hadn't become a star after that. He isn't a typically handsome actor. He's short and kind of hairy, a white guy with 5 o'clock shadow and a hangdog look. He ended up playing small roles, criminals and sidekicks mostly. He got married and later divorced. No kids.